Two wheels are better than four. From the mountains to the shore, find us rolling up to the pub. We're 17 Scooters Club. Who wants to introduce us today?
Nat could do it because she was late.
Yeah. This is 17 Scooters podcast. I am Natalie.
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kate.
I feel like you guys always usually look more ready than I do.
Do I look ready? Hold on.
I know the last time you were like
Yeah, I like your spot
actually,
last
I
time.
feel like every time that we've gotten on this, I've been like running around doing a million things, and I'm just like a hobo.
Well, you just moved. I chose
Yeah.
the easy California life. Sorry, you're a business lady.
Yeah.
You are.
I'm in my office, so that's why it looks kind of
True.
put together.
Well, okay,
I'm
this
in
is
my office.
my laundry, so that's why we're facing this way. And
Nice.
I look put together because it's showing the hallway that's clean.
Nice.
What's new with you guys?
I got a lot going on.
Do you?
Do you?
I do. So
Well, yeah, you do.
I won't say the name of the place, but I got a seasonal job at this haunted, like a haunted attraction, and it's like really big where I live, and
It's
so
very people out here know about it.
Yeah, it's on the news. It was like rated on like number one something. So I enjoy going to this place like every year. So I was like, you know what? I want a side job and I want something like spooky and Halloweeny. So I went to go interview and they basically were like, yeah, like come at this time. We have a lot of openings. So I interviewed and they were like, so what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. What would I be good at? And they're like, well, you're a teacher, right? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, so you can speak to groups and remember things? And I was like, yeah. And so
you can read.
You can read.
You have a brain.
I said yes to being the storyteller. And basically I ride the wagon and I'm in like, I get my makeup airbrushed and I get like this expensive costume and I get my hair done and I have
What's
like a
the costume?
character.
Yeah, do you know
I
the
don't
costume
know.
yet?
I'll know next week. No, I don't know yet.
You need to send a
Um,
picture so we can put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So I was like, okay, no problem. I mean, I showed up and there was like a bunch of kids. So I was like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. No, I have 25 fully filled out note cards of lines I have to remember, like paragraphs,
That's
25.
why they asked if you were a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
it makes sense now.
I remember like all the theater kids doing this, like because they want to be actors and stuff. So this is what the theater kids do as a side job, because
That
like,
makes so much sense.
yeah, because they're like, what acting experience do you have? And it's like, oh, I've been in this haunted house. I had the big
Yeah.
role. I was this scary little demon.
I had to memorize my lines and
Yeah.
it is. They were all wearing black when I went. They were all like very showbiz, like
That's
there's
very
call
showbiz.
time and yeah, like call time and all these other like show things. So I'm like, okay. I was like the oldest person of my group. One lady even said, "So you and I are the old ladies of this group." It's like,
How old is the
okay,
other
I am
lady?
young.
probably
I think the
around
only
my age.
theater experience that I have is when me and Liv did like Mary Poppins in elementary school. I forget what this was for, and we had to do cartwheels across the stage. And the girl, like in front of me, or she was either behind me or in front of me.
She was
She didn't
behind
go-
you.
She didn't go on her cue. Yeah, she went too early and cartwheeled too close to me, and I kicked her in the face.
Okay,
I
so
think
me
I
and
remember
Natalie, it was me and Natalie doing cartwheels. I was in the front, Natalie was in the middle, and the girl was in the back. And I remember the girl like just staring me down, and I'm like, I didn't kick you. I would have felt that. I didn't kick you. And then Natalie just was silent, and I was like, did you kick her?
Why
And
were
I'm
you
like,
guys
I was like,
in the
oh.
same cartwheel thing? Was it a
Well,
why
play?
were we in the same play?
What was it for?
It was like a third, fourth, and fifth grade play of
Oh,
the
that's
year.
why.
And we were in it, and they didn't give us lines,
Star too.
but we could do cartwheels, so.
That's my kind of play. I wish I was like chopping people's heads off or like setting the incinerator off rather than
Yeah,
telling a story. But it's showbiz, I guess.
it is.
So
That's
that's what's
funny.
new.
Well, I pissed some more people off this morning.
What?
So we were supposed to record this early, but I was sleeping and Natalie was running errands.
I was
So I'm
running
like,
around.
I'm just gonna go get a coffee. So on my way to go get a coffee, there's this parking lot, right? And there's a road in the parking lot. And there's this family of 7 just across the road, and in front of me is a Subaru, and it like nicely pulls up to them, starts like just crawling. And I'm like, are we gonna do this until we get to the end of this road? Because I'm not. I have places to be. So I did like the tiniest beep. I've laid on my horn before. I just did a little beep. And this whole family turns around, and I just turn up my Morgan Wallen so I don't hear them. But they're all like, "What? You can't wait, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, you're in the road, fuckers. I just said that and kept driving. And I was happy they were leaving because Hassan was like, are we going to see them in the coffee shop now?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
realized, like, coming from the East Coast and moving to the West Coast, people don't use their horns out here. And if
No.
you do, it's like the worst thing you could ever do on the road. Like, people take it very personally.
Yeah.
Like,
Really?
people drive out
It's
here.
like, that's the most uncourteous thing to me. Like, 12 of you across the road, like, you could all be on the side of the road and keep traffic flowing. And for you to know that I'm behind you and not move over, like, that's just so rude.
That happened to me yesterday in front of our high school with a bike. A bike
Oh.
was in the middle of the road, and
Don't
I
get
was
me
like,
started on the cyclists.
okay.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on the cyclists. I have a passionate hate for cyclists.
They're
always
just like
away.
biking in the middle of the road in front of
They
you.
bike in the middle of the road. They don't follow the traffic rules either, but expect to be like treated like a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and they're always like on the little walking paths, and they go so fast. And like, get out of the way. And I'm like, no, you look out.
No, we're walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make it clear, we are a scooters club. We are not a cyclist club. You're not.
Non-motorized.
2 wheels are better than 4, but yours are worse. All right, who wants to start today? Or Natalie, what's new with you? I'm like, okay, me and Katie. Bye, Natalie. Bye.
I mean, nothing really that I can like share on the podcast.
Oh,
but-
me and Natalie went to Oregon.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was after the last episode. We have I missed thunderstorms so much, and we finally had a thunderstorm. So that
We
was
had a
like my highlight.
thunderstorm.
That was my highlight of the trip.
Well, we
Oh.
went on this big
The
hike,
hike was great.
and it was really pretty.
Yeah.
But this, when we went to go get our coffees, like, we just thought that it thunderstormed and rained regularly up there. And when we go in, this guy is like, quick, what do you guys want? The power might go out. And we're like, what? Really? And they're like, yeah, it hasn't rained like this in like 6 months. And we're like, oh yeah, this is the best. So we really enjoyed that. That was fun.
Were there any were they worried about landslides and mudslides? The
I
rain?
personally wasn't worried about it until we were hiking God's Thumb, and we were on like the knife edge, and I was like, yeah, it was downpouring this morning. Good thing it's kind of dry, but we were definitely slipping and sliding in the shady parts.
Well,
Yeah.
did you see Lake Havasupai Falls, like all down there? People, it's all closed down. People needed evac, like it's this crazy thing and then you look it up, it's like waterfalls because of all the rain. It was like washing people away. It's crazy. It's like emergency status.
That's happened in Santa Barbara before, like a few times. Like rock slides has like killed people because
Yeah.
it never rains, and it just like slides right through the neighborhoods.
It's crazy. Yeah, we don't have that around here.
I think our best experience was in Humboldt, Natalie.
Which one?
Our most entertaining one. So
I
with the
had
trip,
meetings. So like
Oh,
we were
yeah.
driving up, and like I was off work, but like not off work. I still had to like do things. Even though I was on PTO, I had a bunch of trainings and stuff. So it was
and they
a
told her like
4-hour
last
class.
minute.
Yeah, I had a 4-hour class that I had to sit through, and then a meeting right after.
Oh.
And like as soon as we get into like the redwoods, there's like no service, so I'm like in and out of the class, like trying to get service. And it was just very hectic. But yeah, tell your Humboldt story.
I'm like, that was not interesting at all, Natalie. So there's Natalie just like holding
What was
on
that
to
you said?
John's phone for his like, because he has Verizon and we have AT&T.
Yeah.
For his service, because it was like slightly better through the thing. So she's holding on to that, and all of us are like, we need to go to the bathroom, and so we find this coffee shop, and you don't serve coffee without a bathroom. So we pull up, and it's in the middle of the woods What's that? Oh, it's like probably 10, 15 minutes from that famous drive-through tree in, is that the Redwoods?
Yeah.
Um, and so we're in Humboldt County. And we go in and we order everything, and Hassam's like, "Oh, where's your bathroom?" He goes, "We don't have one." All of us, like, about to pee our pants, we're like, "Okay, whatever." So we go back outside, and we're debating driving down this road to go to the bathroom when this guy comes up. He is like typical, he's probably like in his 40s, but is so aged from like using something, like some sort of drugs. And he's dressed like a little skater boy. And he walks by John's car. It's like a Honda Civic, but like a bright one that car people like.
Is it a
Um,
Honda Civic?
I don't know what it is. It's
It's
a
not. It's
Type
not
R.
a
It
regular.
is. It's a Honda Civic Type R. Because
Okay.
they have like the old lady car, and then they have like the cool version that's bright blue, and he has like the little
Ah.
tail on it. And this guy walks by with his pit bull, and it's just like, huh, you gotta. What did he say about the
He's like, is that a
Transformers?
transformer?
Who is that a Transformer you got there? And we're all just like, okay, all right. and um and I'm like trying to rush everybody back in their cars. I'm like, I'm not comfortable here. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, they didn't have a bathroom. We're like in this desolate area with everybody around, but like, and then there's us, just the normal ones. And so I'm trying to rush people back into their cars. And
I'm still
then
on my meeting.
Natalie's on her meeting. I'm like, Natalie, just get in the car. And I'm trying to get Hassam to drive with me to the next place, and he's going into the other car. So I'm like, just, or I was like, do you want your beef jerky? And he's like, yeah, it comes to get it. And I'm like, it comes at a price. And I was just like, just kiss me, like we're driving. And he was like, I don't want it. So I'm like, okay, whatever. He's like, I'm just trying to get in the car. So I took it and I chucked it across the road at him. And this lady rushes out the back door of her kitchen, like of the coffee shop. And I'm like, you have a kitchen, you have a bathroom, but whatever. And she goes, excuse me, can you tell your friend she dropped something? And Hassam's like, she knows. And she's like, well, can you just tell her to pick it up? And I'm like, everybody was watching us, and it was just such a weird, trippy town.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I was glad to
Wait,
get out of
Did
there.
you guys pee in the woods?
No,
where did we end up
where did
going?
we end up peeing? We ended
Oh,
up
I think we
driving
went
like
to the gas station.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the gas station.
I would have just
Maybe a
gone to the
safe
woods.
choice.
I would have gone in the woods, but I also am happy we didn't drive down that wooded road to see what was at the end, because that's where the Transformer guy was going.
Oh, I wouldn't have gone down that road. I would have just gone into the national park.
Hmm.
Yeah, they probably have bathrooms there too.
They did, but that's okay.
But yeah.
You guys made it.
So, Natalie, do you have a story for us today?
I do. It also has to do with angry driving and so as much as I hate cyclists, I think I hate semi truck drivers more.
Mm.
Um Always in the way, always like I don't know. I could say many things, but I'll get into the story. So I was road tripping down to California once again for maybe like the 15th time. And I was going to like Tahoe for 4th of July. And I'm on the road, I'm almost there. It's like 14, 15 hours in. I have like 4 hours left. And I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to get there before it gets dark. And I get to a section of I-5 that's completely just like stopped. It says there's like 2 hours of traffic you can't get through until they clean up the accident. And then my phone pops up with like an alternate route. And it's like, it might have unpaved roads. But if you take this exit, like you could go, like I looked on my maps and everything. I'm like, oh, this is like back roads, like up in the mountains. And I'm like, I have a RAV4, like whatever, I'm gonna take it. And just like you can basically cuts off that section of the highway, you go around the accident, you get back on. And I was like, okay. So I get off, I go to do that, and there's like maybe a couple cars. And like it's about like 45 miles an hour speed limit. And then you get all the way up into the mountain, and I'm like, why is there like traffic? Why are we stopped again? And I keep going a little bit, and I'm like, I see two semis trying to go up these like dirt roads in the mountains. And
No.
like this is a gated, like there's a gated neighborhood up there that you have to go through. And I don't know if you've seen any of these in California. They have like mountaintop neighborhoods that like you have to take dirt roads to get up to, but they're really nice once you get up there. And these semis are like trying to drive through there, but there's such curved roads. They're like driving in people's yards and shit. And then I'm like, this is bad. Like I was very mad because I've been in the car for like 15 hours just
Yeah.
trying to like pass the thing. And I'm like, you're on the clock. You're getting paid for this. You're a truck driver. You should not be on like any back roads. You were blocking the highway. Now you're blocking the back roads. This is the only way out.
Well,
And
it's
I'm getting,
scary if they tip over the
yeah,
side.
because it's steep and they're like on cliffs and stuff. So I'm like, first of all, it's annoying, but second of all, like disrespectful to be driving through people's yards. You're blocking the
Yeah.
road once again. And they wouldn't even like pull over. They had like lines and lines of cars like backed up on these dirt roads just sitting on the edge because they couldn't
God.
drive. I'm like, okay, like there's like a place to pull over, pull over. Obviously they don't. So I'm like stuck in these mountain roads for a good like 45 minutes because of the semis. And then we get down to the bottom, like the stop sign where we're going to turn back and get back on the highway. And they both just like stop in the middle, kind of like on the side of the 2-lane road, but they're too big. And I'm like, I'm just going to go around them. Like this guy literally stopped and got out of his truck and was
He's
just
just
like
taking a break.
just standing on the side of the road. Like I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he had a problem with his truck. I don't know. So I get out and I like go around and he starts yelling at me. And I'm like, why are you yelling at me? Like you were blocking the whole road. So I roll down the window. I'm like, fuck you. You're semi truck. And I start yelling at him. And then he gets back in his truck and he lays on his horn, gets this close to my car in his semi. Zion's like sticking his head out the window and he's laying on his horn
Oh my
and like
God, the scary
and kept
bighorn.
following me for like 10 minutes, like laying on his horn, like that close to me. Because when we're getting back on the highway, like there's a little bit of traffic. We're past the accident, but it's like just really slow. And we're merging in, and all the semis are trying to like cut everyone off. I'm like, you guys just need like your own like transportation roads because you can't function with other drivers.
That
Because
guy sounded like he had road rage.
it was, I had road rage because of it. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but
I remember Natalie calling me like as this was going on, or I think I called you, and you were like,
oh yeah,
"Hi, I'm like,
I was
I'm
so
fighting
mad.
a
My
truck
hands
driver
were
right
like,
now."
my hands were all red from squeezing my steering wheel so hard. But
Yeah.
no, he was like screaming at me after I was like yelling at him and stuff. I was like, what I do, I like to make people even more mad. So I was like going like, done like little heart, like doing little hearts and being like, hi, like sorry.
I do. I
He
remember.
was so mad.
That's like me and my good vibes like cover on the back of my Jeep. Like the amount of
Yeah.
people I cut off or like brake check, and then all of it just says "Good vibes, life is good" on the back of my Jeep. It's funny.
But yeah, no, that was probably some of the worst road rage I've had. No, I rolled down the window and I screamed at him.
We have
Normally,
another
I feel
theme.
like they're
Actually,
pretty.
why would you do like how in what situation in your head are you not in the wrong here?
Yeah.
You're blocking all of these cars. There's a line of cars lined up behind them, and I'm like, why would I not go past you? Like you're just sitting there.
I'm picturing like the pass to Santa Barbara from up north, and that's just like a
Yes.
windy road.
Yeah, it's
And
a
like,
windy mountain road. I'm like, this is dangerous.
yeah. But it's well traveled because it's either that, like, because the West Coast doesn't have back roads like the East
No.
Coast. Like, you could take like 12 to 20 different routes on the East Coast. West Coast is like 2 if you're lucky. And
Yeah.
that's one of the 2. But it's like, sorry, your truck, you just got to stay on the,
And like
the
you
highway.
like it said dirt road like on
Yeah.
Apple Maps. So I'm like, there's no way like they didn't know.
Exactly.
Maybe they had like some illegal things in the back, so then they're like, "Oh no, the boss is gonna get mad if we're not on time," and that's why they weren't
Maybe
like
there's like a whole line
proper
of them,
truck
though.
drivers.
And I'm just
Huh.
like,
Yeah, they were all going together for safety.
I know. I was so mad. I was very mad. But no, I just can't believe that he like got mad at me. And I'm like, what, you can't handle like a little white girl flipping you off? Like you're
Come here.
in the wrong. You're in the wrong. You're a semi truck driver. But yeah, anytime I'm driving, they always piss me off because
Here
they're
comes Natalie coming for the truck drivers. They could have been a great chunk of our listeners, but now.
I'm just saying, if you're a truck driver, I think it should be a rule. If you're on a road where like there's no passing lane, you have to pull over every 10 minutes. Let people pass. Unless you're going 5 above the speed limit, you have to pull over. Let people, there's always a line of people behind them.
Oh,
Good Lord, that was a story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, should I tell my listener story, or Katie, do you want to do a game? Is the game
I'll do
good
my
to end
game.
with? Okay.
I'll do my game just to break up stories.
Okay.
Okay, um, so it's called Finish That Quote from Our Childhood. And I was telling Natalie earlier today that
I'm excited.
this, I didn't even like really plan to do this like segment. I was just sitting on the couch, and these are things that these ones specifically frequently come up in my mind, like probably every couple of weeks in just like different situations. Like when someone says one of these like keywords, like this is what's echoing in my mind. So I started writing them down, and then this is how this came about. So how it's gonna work is I'm gonna say it in like a monotone voice, because I feel like if I say it with inflection, you're gonna be able to finish it, like you're gonna get it right away. So I'm gonna say half of it in like a very calm voice, and then you guys have to try to figure out and like shout out whoever gets it first the second half of it, and you get bonus points if you can give me the context where we were and what we were doing when this happened.
I feel,
Okay.
I feel like this
probably
happens
guessed
to
some of
me.
them.
Yeah, this happens to me alone, and then I like shout them out, and everyone around me was like, they don't get it because they weren't there. And I'm like, if only you knew how funny this was right now.
One of them I was explaining to John, and it was like, after I got done explaining it, I was like laughing, and I'll tell you which one it is when we get to it. And I was like, but it was so funny because blah blah blah. And he's like, I don't get it. It's like,
Sure it
fine.
I feel like that's everything with us.
Yeah.
I did get it. Okay, so are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm excited. It's a good game.
Okay, I have to try to say it in like such a normal voice. Okay, so the first
You're an
one,
actor now. You're an actor
I'm
now.
an
You can
actor
do it.
now. Okay, it's gonna start off easy and then get harder. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one. So you have to finish it. So all of
All the meatball sub.
yes,
With
All the
olives.
meatball sub.
all of okay. So who said
You
it?
sing it. Liv
I
said
did
it. We're
at Subway.
We're
On the way to
getting
Florida.
sandwiches. And with olives. With olives.
Yes,
I
you
love
wanted
it.
a meatball sub with olives, and then we were waiting in line, and there was a lot of
I
us.
started singing.
You were afraid you were gonna forget it, so you're like a meatball sub with olives, olive and meatball sub with olives, and you were last in line. And after all of us, like you, and then you started saying olive and meatball sub.
With olives. Yeah.
I think you ordered it that way too.
I
Olive
think I
and
did
meatball
too.
sub.
I did. I remember that. And it was actually pretty good. And people are always like, ew, a meatball sub with olives. But I buy
It's
pasta
Italian.
sauce. I buy pasta sauce with olives in them.
Pasta
So,
sauce.
like, that's the same. I love
Pasta
olives.
sauce.
Oh
Olives are
God.
good. Okay.
Okay. Let's see the next one. I'm gonna skip around, so they'll start easier and then get harder. Okay.
Okay.
Y'all from
Memphis?
Y'all from Memphis. Oh, what's the rest of it? Oh, darn, that's my hometown.
I forgot that.
y'all
Y'all
from
from
Memphis?
Memphis?
Oh
Where
darn,
were
that's
we
my
when he said
hometown.
this? I know this was also driving to Florida, and we met
We
this
were-
weird guy.
Do you remember, Liv?
Not really. I
We were in
remember
the van
making fun of
in-
it.
In the line,
Oh, yeah.
waiting to get into
Memphis?
SeaWorld.
And we're like,
And
no, we weren't.
it was a really long line, and we had a rental car with a Memphis plate, and these guys, and like it's like two guys with cowboy hats in this old beat up truck, and he rolled down the window, and
I remember
Patty was
that.
like,
'Cause I was in the
"Should I roll
back
down the
seat.
window?" Yeah, and they're like, oh, and then she did, and then he with his straw hat was like, "Y'all from
Oh, from
Memphis?
Memphis?
Oh darn, it's my
We're like,
hometown."
no, New York. And then he's like, oh, darn, that's my hometown.
Yeah.
And we're like, are you sure? Is Ernie in this one?
No.
Y'all, do you
Okay.
think we're going to get wet?
I
Ernie
Oh,
from Wyoming.
was trying to remember if it was the same people or not.
No, it was
No.
a kid. He was just like, wanted to hang out with us. Because we're at
Y'all
SeaWorld.
think
And we're in the splash zone. He's like, do you think we're going to get wet? And we're
y'all
like,
think we're gonna get wet?
Yeah.
That's when my hatred towards strangers began, I think. I'm like, don't sit next to me. I don't know you.
Everyone's like
he's
squirreling
like, hi, my
around.
name's Ernie and I'm from Wyoming.
Yeah.
Yes. No shit,
do
we're in the
remember that.
splash zone, Ernie. We're gonna get wet. Go put your camera phone back up with your parents.
Okay, this one we didn't say it out loud. I don't know if you'll remember this one. It wasn't something said out loud, but it was like a phrase. So, okay, ready?
Blame my
Blame my
sister.
sister, or the
But what did
snowplow. Blame the snowplow, not my.
Blame.
Or it was blame my sister shirts, but then we put
I put
we
blame my snowplow over it in paper
yes.
because I built a snowplow out of the plow, like,
a
No,
snow
you built
fort?
a
called snow fort, out of like the plow pile. Like, I just dug it out, and it took me all day. I was sweating, and then I was chilling in my igloo, and all of a sudden I go inside for like hot cocoa, and I come back out, and I watch the plow just like knock more like snow into my igloo, and my igloo collapsed, and I chased that snowplow down the street, and then I went upstairs, put my blame my sister t-shirt on, and then typed and then wrote snowplow
So
in like
In like
big
crayon.
bubbly in like bubbly letters and crayon,
Blame
and
my
I wore that around
snowplow.
all day.
How did you get it on the shirt? Did you safety pin it?
She just taped it.
I
think.
taped it. I'm a big tape girl. I taped it.
I
So
remember you put that back on under your snow bib like overall.
Oh, you're right.
And you kept going like this to show every
You're like,
snowplow.
I did. I hated the snowplow. But thinking about it now, I'm like, I literally built a fort in
the
their
road.
discard pile. Like, it was on the curb. It wasn't on our land. It was pretty much the side of the road, and it was just easy for me to build a fort there, so that's
At
why I
least
did
you
it.
weren't
Tunneled
in it.
in.
I know, like, if I was mom and dad, I probably wouldn't have let me build a fort on the road like
No.
that. But whatever.
Okay, I have a couple more. Whatever will.
We do.
Yeah, this is
Never
another
really
live one.
did.
And this is when
Well, that was a Keely one.
Oh, this is a Keely
KKON.
one. KKON, which was the inspiration of this podcast. But
Live would
we haven't
attack
gotten the
us.
second K again. Was our talk show. And
Yeah, but
I was supposed to be, I won the flip coin toss to be a host, but Natalie really wanted to be the host and cried, so she got the
Yeah.
host job. She was like
Yeah,
7.
I
We were
remember
young.
that.
And then I decided that I would be like the crazy monster, or just the crazy out of left field thing that runs and interrupts the show every time. So like one time I'd be like the crazy fiddleist, and then what else was I? Like
You
the
were a
beer
hillbilly.
monster, a hillbilly, something different. There's a dolphin. We threw
Yeah,
down
the
this dolphin.
you were
But
a
then
dolphin.
Keely's line was always, "Oh no, whatever will we do?"
Whatever will we do? Okay, 2 more. It's a bird.
It's a plane. It's Natalie,
It's Natalie on the swing.
Do you remember what swing that was?
It
Was the front yard.
yeah, like that little rope swing with the just piece of
Yeah.
wood.
That's not
Yeah.
there anymore, but yeah.
It
No,
was
I
like
was swinging on
one
it,
rope
and then-
for people trying to picture it. It was like one rope, and instead
And
of
not-
2 ropes on the end, it was like one rope with a piece of wood, and the rope went through the center of it, so you had to put your legs on both sides.
And you just sit on it.
You got a lot of splinters on that one, and the rope was uncomfortable. But I still
Yeah.
like that swing.
It was a good swing. We could go really high.
Who
But-
did you hit, Liv?
Who I think
Liv,
Natalie.
because I was
we used to
swinging,
throw
you guys were
people.
pushing me really high, and Liv was just looking up like.
Well, the way we used to do it is, I think I pushed you. So
Yeah, and
you would
you
take the
jumped up the
bottom, you'd grab the knot on the bottom of the swing, and you would run, and then I'd throw it over my head and then duck. But since you would go, but then I didn't move from there, so you went back, and you came back and just knocked me in the back of the head. And I was like
Wow.
seeing stars. And then Katie or somebody yelled, "It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Natalie on the swing." Or maybe I thought of it. I don't know who thought
I
of
think
it.
you said it, and
I
then
think I thought of it.
Yeah.
I think you got knocked out, and you're laying on the ground, and then all of a sudden you started talking, and that's what you said.
It's a plane. It's Natalie on the swing.
I forgot that's how we used to push each other. We would grab the bottom of the rope
Yeah,
and
and you
run
just
under
chuck
the
it.
person.
hmm
All right, last one.
Oh, we called it the underdoggy.
No.
I have to write
yeah.
this down for notes because I name the show like Underdoggies.
The underdoggy. All right, last one. ShopRite.
Oh, ShopRite, Walmart, Target.
Yeah,
The game
the game.
ShopRite, Walmart, Target.
where we'd throw the ball, you'd have to go
Oh.
ShopRite, Walmart,
We
and
were
then
playing,
Target.
yeah, with the neighbors. We were like bored one day, right, and couldn't figure out a game to play. And instead of playing like tag or
It
like
was like
throw the
total
ball,
trap.
we it started with being like target and then throwing the ball, and then we're like, wait, why not say shop right Walmart? I don't know what the whole idea of the game was, but we were just shouting that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like somebody just yelled ShopRite, and then the next person yelled Walmart, and we're like, yeah, we got the game.
Target. Yeah.
How
You
did the
guys did
game
good.
go?
We had a ball and
Um,
you couldn't throw it until you said Target. And I think you were
yeah,
frozen if you got hit by the ball, and then it was kind of like freeze tag, but with a ball, like dodgeball freeze tag.
Interesting. I remember playing, but never understanding.
I just remember yelling it and throwing it
ShopRite,
at the
Walmart, Target.
neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's what it was. Like, we would just yell, ShopRite, Walmart, Target, and then throw the
Target.
ball at the neighbors.
Yeah, and they would play with us too. They liked it.
They did. They didn't understand, but
They're like,
We
what, those
would.
weird
they're
girls. What are
like,
they
these
doing?
weirdos. All right, well, I'm going to end us with a listener tale.
Okay.
Um,
Wait, what was the one that John didn't get?
oh yeah,
The
what?
snowplow.
Oh.
Blame the snowplow.
Yeah, he didn't understand. Like he was like, "Oh," he didn't get like. I don't think he got like the shirt part of it, or he was like, "Oh, so she just taped it on?" And I was like, "Yeah, she taped it and wore it for the rest of the day, was yelling at the snowplows."
And every time the snowplow went by, ripped it open like
Yeah.
Superman.
It was
Yeah.
like a bright pink shirt too.
It was.
I
Me and
remember
Natalie had matching ones. I feel like Mom was mad that Patty got us like shirts to evoke, what's it called? Like ignite fighting between us.
Yeah.
And so when we
Like
were
my
mad at each other, we'd just put them on and be like,
Well, that was you. Because you would get mad because every time we would fight, you would get all mad and like want to argue and stuff, and I'd just be like, okay,
and that would make me
whatever.
more mad.
And
You're
then
so
you're,
good
why
at
aren't
it.
you mad? Why aren't you getting in trouble? Like,
You
because I
remember
haven't
the
done
time
anything.
Liv, this is kind of unrelated. I think it was twice. The first time you were mad at Andy for whatever reason, and you slammed the doors, and we have like 100-year-old house. You slammed his door, and it cracked
No,
it
that
in
was
half.
Becky.
No.
It was
Somebody slammed the door and I just put my hand out like this and locked my elbow. And then they
the door
slammed it
cracked on the hand.
and then they kept pushing and it just cracked on my hand, and I've never felt like a superhero more than that moment.
Dad tells that story all the time. Liv slammed the door and cracked it in
I
half.
didn't slam it. I stuck my hand out and stopped it.
Yeah, I think Eric like
know
slammed it
that.
in her face or something.
Yeah.
And then I took a shower and flooded the kitchen with the
Yeah.
Mom still
lights.
talks about. There's still a stain on the ceiling from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to jump into it. You guys are going to
Okay.
like this one.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. Hi, ladies. So, a few days ago, my mom told me this story, and with her permission, I knew I had to write it in. My mom is sweet. She's a typical 70-something woman who loves to go bird watching. There's this recreation area over near our house that has a few ponds, some hiking trails. People are usually there with their dogs to like hike off leash and go swim in the ponds. However, my mom was alone this day, or so she thought. Between blue jays and cardinals chirping, darting through her lenses and the summer breeze blowing in her hair, she hears a stark different sound. A voice says, "Hey, you looking at me?" As my mother points her binoculars towards the sound of the voice. Thank the Lord that what she saw didn't send her into cardiac arrest like it would have me, because sitting in the center of the lake in the pool float, bare naked, is what she describes as a 40-something-year-old man. Startled, yet still polite, my mom just shouts back confusingly, "No?" By this time, the free floater has pulled a raggedy old white t-shirt from Lord knows where and covers his junk with it. They have a stare down for a moment, sort of like a deer meeting the eyes of its hunter in the center of the woods. And then
It's dominance.
she just kept walking, looking at the birds. No stranger danger, not one thought of maybe I should go home. Nothing. When she told me where she was and started telling me a story, I remembered a story that my brothers told me years ago about this place. And I thought it was going to be related, and who knows, maybe it is. My brothers and our neighbors used to put on ghillie suits and go do God knows what in the woods out there. They said that one time they were in this park and there was a man living in a tree. Not a tree house, but more of a hunting stand. And it was weird because it was right next to a clearing, and the boy said that he was not at all dressed to hunt and had way too many things to just be up there for a day hunting. Also, this is a public park, so it would be quite concerning if he was hunting. I thought that's where the story was going, and who knows, maybe it's the same guy. I haven't seen him yet. Anyways, love your podcast, and I'm happy I got to write in. Thank you. And I thought that was just so random and funny.
Floating around naked in a park?
The amount of murder podcasts I listen to, I would run.
Do you know
and
what
probably
park it was?
yeah, what's it called? Red Wing. That
Oh, I feel like
it
a lot of wait, it was probably the guy that like owns the area next to Red Wing. Kate.
no,
Maybe why would he be naked?
he has his own private lake. Why would he be in the pond?
Oh.
I think this was not that pond. It sounded like it was a pond like in the park.
Well, do you remember? So this was our neighbor Jen. Oh, sorry, probably our neighbor. It was our neighbor. I'll plug that out. And who told our mom, and our mom was like, "You have to write this in." So
That's
mom
funny.
said that from what she got, it was that one that you walk in, you park like on the side, you go right over 44, and then you park on the right side where there's that red barn and the big lake with the fountains, right? And then you walk through the pine trees. Then when you get to the
Keep going.
back, there's like a
yeah.
little
Yeah.
not a camper, but like a mobile home.
Trailer. It's gone now,
You-
but yeah.
Okay, there was a mobile home. And then like you're just walking through grass, and then we used to bring Cherry to swim in that little pond back there.
Yep. I remember.
There's a man in there.
And the man was there. And I was so confused at the story where he pulled his shirt out of where? Like he was naked on a pool
Maybe he
float.
was tanning.
I heard that he eventually, because she just kept on bird watching, doing her
Yeah.
thing. And I heard that he eventually pulled his float to the side and got up and was just buck naked, just being like, bye. But where was he walking to?
Ooh. You
Maybe
see,
it's
I'm
like-
confused because I think that is private property. But
It is,
they
but-
like let people use it.
There's child soccer practice there. There's soccer
Ooh.
practice, there's football fields, there's hiking trails, there's
Yeah.
hunting, there's running. It's a park.
Yeah. Is that the park that's across from your apartment? Just another piece of it? Oh, that's
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah, it connects.
It's a big park.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, be careful running, Katie.
I saw a lady.
Really?
I was stopped at a stop sign once, and I look over to my right, and there's a lady just peeing in a bush, but she's not like hidden at all.
That might have been me.
That's me a lot.
And I'm
Ooh.
like, oh, well, if you gotta go, you gotta go. But like, we made awkward eye contact, and I was just like,
Sorry.
I actually
Yeah.
ran into a situation at the park this week.
Oh,
did you?
So-
just take care of it.
So I'm always at this park near my house to let the dogs run. And there's every single time I try to use the restroom,
It's a
it's
van.
locked. It's locked. And so I got coffee. Like I woke up, I didn't go to the bathroom. I just put my clothes on, grabbed a coffee, and went out to this park. And like I usually pee in the trees like every single time I'm there, but this time the coffee shits hit me. And I was like, I couldn't even walk out of the park without like squeezing my butt cheeks. And I'm like, Lord, if you're up there, please let this bathroom be open. And finally, like, I didn't walk to the bathroom. I put the dogs in the car and I drove to the bathroom.
Oh,
Because I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it if I ran. And so I went in, and by the grace of God, it was open. So I'm sitting there taking a shit, and all of a sudden I hear is, and I'm like, what the hell? And then I started to hear footsteps, and I'm trying not to let the poop hit the water because I know it's gonna make a noise and he's gonna know I'm there. So I pulled my feet up onto the seat, and it keeps getting closer, and it goes and walking, and then finally it starts like going into the bushes and away, and I'm like, what the hell was that? Nobody else is here. It was a person, yeah. And so I flushed the toilet and I run straight into my car. My stupid dogs are sleeping. They're not barking at this guy. And he's like, if a zombie apocalypse happened, that's what it would be. He was like
That
a
would have started
zombie
it.
on something, and then I
Are you
seen his
sure?
car. What
Oh,
was
it's a
that?
person.
It was a
Are you sure it's a
person.
person?
Positive, because I saw him like wandering over to his car afterwards, and his door was open. His car was parked in the middle of like the road, and I'm like, how did he drive in here if he's in that kind of state? And so I was concerned. I'm like, oh man, I almost got murdered on the toilet.
No, you broke a door in half, so I think you could take Zombie Man.
Yeah, I could have hid from him too. It's just
Cornered.
I would have been cornered back there.
I
But
have
I
a quick
was
zombie man story. The
yeah.
same thing happened to us kind of yesterday. No, the other day. Mom and dad and we were gonna go, they're gonna go drop me off at this like place to run. I wanted to leave my car somewhere and they were gonna drive me to the top and they're like, yeah, sure, like that sounds fun. So we're driving and I'm behind them and I see this man on the side of the road and he's just walking and to me like he's like a little loose,
Yeah.
but
I
that's
heard this
okay.
story.
And then we get there, and mom was like, did you see that guy? And I was like, yeah.
Oh, hold
We
on.
lost
Katie's
losers.
recording had
Three, two,
stopped.
one. I'm back.
Okay,
I'm back. Can you hear me? Oh, God.
you're
So,
back.
Yes.
anyway, the guy on the side of the road, I saw him. He looked okay, but he was carrying something red. And then mom saw him and was like, he tried to bark and bite my car. And I was like, no way, mom. Like, maybe he was just doing something weird. I don't know. So, we ended up,
Maybe.
the running spot that I went to ended up not being a good spot. So, we were going to go back to this other like park nearby. And then I saw him. This man was loosey goosey in the road. He's going, whoa, like a zombie at cars. He has a big red thing, like a big, it looked like a thing of like gasoline. He's weaving in and out. He's like trying to bite cars. He's running back and forth between like across the road. And I was like, oh God. So then I get to the park right outside where he was, and I hear brakes going like skirt and like he was playing in the
Oh
I don't know what
no.
he was doing. So I called the non-emergency line and I was like, "Hi, is this?" It was a small town. I was like, "Is this the non-emergency line?" She's like, "This is the only line we have. What's up?" And I was like, there's a man who's barking and biting cars, and I think he's gonna get hit." And she was like, "Can you clarify? Do you mean like a dog?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "Oh
He's a
boy,
man.
I'll send." I was like, "But he's a man. He's a grown man." So
Oh,
anyway, I don't know what
yikes.
happened to
That
him.
sounds like a yeah. That sounds like the West Coast.
Yeah,
Very
that
interesting.
does. Something
I
that I
mean,
hate about calling the cops is that they kind of expect you to stay there.
well,
Like, did
none of
they?
that happened.
Sometimes they want you to stay, and it's like, no, I gotta move on with my
Like
day. I'm just letting you know that
I
this is
don't
So
want
going
to
on.
stay.
Yeah,
Like I don't want to
they just
stay.
took
No,
my
we
name
were
and number, and I kind of wanted to like peek and watch, but
yeah.
just see what happens, see how it
I
plays
didn't
out.
see. Yeah, I didn't hear any sirens or anything. So
Well, like when I lived in Seattle, we worked in like very sketchy areas, and we had a lot of homeless people just like wandering through job sites and stuff. And you always, because we have port potties on site, which I never
um,
use. I always just go in the woods because one site we had a homeless person living in our porta potty, and then
Honeypot.
another one, yeah, another one we had a homeless person set on fire, and then he was rolling in like the liquid like fire poo.
Ooh.
And so
oh,
we had to call the cops, and the cops were like, we're not coming until the fire department comes and puts that out. And the fire department's like, we're not coming until the cops come. So none of them wanted to come help us. And I guess I forget who, like someone on site, like kind of
maybe it was
not
Live
detained
Zombie
me,
Man.
like, but they're just
Maybe.
like, baby, I don't know. But I don't know, someone on site kind of just took care of the situation, like pushed the guy over to the side, and then the cops eventually came, but none of them wanted to come. The fire department don't want to come. The cops didn't want to come. They're like, we don't want to deal with that.
You're like, I have to
Can we
back to
talk
work.
about the monopoly of porta
Honeypot?
potties in
Yeah.
northern Seattle or northern
What do you mean?
Washington? Okay, so when I was visiting Natalie, we were at a park, and there was this whole like just a line of porta potties instead of having like a restroom, which is
The
nice.
brand,
Whatever.
the brand is Honeypot, or it's Green
Honeypot.
Latrine, but Honeypot.
Thank you, Honeypot, for sponsoring us today.
Yeah.
Anyways, Honeypot would, because when I was in the bathroom, I was hovering. So I was holding onto the handle
Oh yeah, you
with
don't
like my
sit.
sweatshirt, and I was hovering, and I look up, and right in front of my face is a you have a chance to win your very own honey pot. Take a selfie with our porta potty,
Did you take a
post it with
selfie?
hashtag honey pot. No.
You should
And you
have.
could win a porta potty. Because I was like, where am I going to put a porta potty? I live in an apartment.
Rent that
But
out.
honestly,
Yeah,
having a,
rent it out.
yeah, I could have started a whole, like business with porta. Actually, that's a good business to start. But I thought that was so funny. And then everywhere we went, like, we didn't see another
No,
brand of porta potty. Only honey
no,
pot.
that's all they have.
We
It
even
makes
saw them when
sense
we were
though.
driving up to Canada. Everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever
So
seen that brand before.
definitely a Seattle brand.
Yeah. No, but another thing about, I think it's pretty
Honey
similar
pot.
in California too, but Seattle, there's no public bathrooms like at gas stations, at like anywhere. There's zero public bathrooms. And I think that's why, because they get a lot of homeless people like setting their poop on fire.
Yes, but I would argue that like there's a lot more public restrooms if you're in a destination town. Like if you go to New York
Yeah.
City, tough luck, you're gonna have to shit your pants. Like honestly, even
Just
if
go
you
to a
go to a
restaurant.
restaurant, sometimes they don't have bathrooms and you have to like book it to the back before somebody stops you. Out here,
Keep
what you
going, but I have to tell you something regarding this that Eric told me yesterday.
okay. Out here, I was just gonna say, like, there's little, like, houses with bathrooms in it. Like, just public restrooms. Like, in a town I
In
work in,
California,
all the
yeah.
beach towns, there's, like,
Really?
just little freestanding restrooms. And I'm like, this is
There
so
are there,
nice.
but just not cities, not Seattle. Like, and
Yeah, not
specifically gas
cities.
stations that have bathrooms, they don't allow
But
customers
it's
to.
so nice, like, road tripping up the one. Like, you could find a public restroom without having to go into any business and purchasing
Oh.
something.
Yes.
And that's what's
Yeah.
super nice about out here, because I always have to pee.
So that's
Okay,
opposite
Katie.
of here. So last night
Yeah.
we're at Stewart's because we're getting ice cream before we're waiting to go to the escape room. And somehow we got on the poop topic and somebody was
Always.
pooping and we were waiting
Always.
for them. I forget who it was. Yeah, like everyone took a turn. We
I
were
have
at
another
Stewart's.
Eric story.
Eric whips out his phone and he's like, let's see if this Stewart's has a rating. And I was like, what? He has a poop app where it tells
I have that
you,
app.
it tells you,
You were
and
talking about
he
this.
said
Me
that
and
he
Liv.
uses it in the city and like up at college because, yes, there's not really that many public restrooms. So, yeah, and then you give a review of it so you can see, like, is this a good one? Is this a bad one? And then he was reading me some of the people's names and they're very creative.
I have another Eric story regarding the bathroom situation too. So when I think I forget when this was, but oh, this was Vancouver. So we were still in Washington at this point, and I like Washington has a bunch of little coffee shacks and stuff. First side story, the first time mom and Andy came to visit when I graduated, I accidentally brought them to like a naked lady coffee stand because
She
they
was
have
obsessed with
those.
finding it again.
Yeah, because they have those. So like we pull up and I'm like pulling a Yui. I'm like, we've got Andy in the car. Like I'm not bringing them to a naked lady like
Mom
coffee
liked
stand. And
it.
she's
She
like,
told me. She's like,
I
that's
know,
cool.
but mom was like, now I feel bad. She's gonna think like we have to go like give her a blanket or something. But anyway, we have a bunch of like coffee stands in Seattle, like everywhere you go. They're just little shacks in parking lots and they sell really good coffee, but it's really strong coffee. And no one with me was used to it. Liv, I think you did the best out of all of them. But
I'm used to it.
Mom, Eric, and Andy were like, we need a bathroom now. And there was nowhere to stop. So we go to this like weird, it wasn't even a gas station, it was like a gas station store. Like one of those just weird, like little marts.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, they've got to have a bathroom here. So we go in and we're like, do you have a bathroom? And he could see like how desperate they were. And he's like, yeah. And he gave them a key. So I went in to go first. I'm like, I just have to pee and I do not want to go there after you guys. So I go in. It's literally a storage closet. Like there's buckets in there. There's like, it looks like it's not even finished. It kind of looks like our attic used to look. Like just blank pieces of wood, a sketchy storage closet, and then there was like a broken toilet. And
This
I'm
is a
like, oh my
freestanding
gosh.
toilet in the
Yeah,
middle of a
so
storage closet.
yeah,
Ew.
so he just like sent us in there, and I was like, this is the weirdest bathroom I've ever been in. So I wonder if it's on the rating app.
We gotta ask
But
That
you.
yeah,
happens to me
Eric
a
was like,
lot.
Eric was in there for like 20 minutes. He's like, I don't feel good, guys. And I was like, okay, we're not getting any more
Oh.
coffee.
I went into a bathroom when I was looking at RVs down in Napomo, and they had this, like, what's it called? We just talked about it. Mobile home. But
Okay.
you could tell they, like, the people who worked there smoked in it. The guy's middle name was Hollywood, self-proclaimed, who was trying to sell us something. And we were just asking about a very specific, like, RV. We're like, this one looks like a home inside. We're wondering when you're going to get it in. If you have any coming. He goes, oh, we got one that you're going to like. It'll do all this stuff. And we're like, no, Hollywood. I'm telling you what I want. Listen. Like, and he was just very trashy. Anyways, their bathroom was very similar. And it made me, like, realize how far I've come in this world, because I used to go in the bathrooms like that all the time, like out in Newburgh and like Poughkeepsie. I'm like, wow, I haven't been in a bathroom like this in so long, and for that I feel blessed.
You'd rather the woods now.
I would rather the woods now. I'm like, freaking Hollywood.
I love going in the woods.
And he yelled at me for not closing the door on the way out, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, Hollywood. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, wait. Kate, do you remember in Boston, we were on the train, it was like 2 a.m. and I had to pee so bad. And like there was no bathroom on the train car, and you're like, I got you. And we like literally like walked over like the sketchy part into a chained off like train car.
I do.
So we could go pee.
Yeah.
Like while the train was moving, it was like Mission Impossible.
It was very train-like. Very
you peed in between train cars?
No, we found a bathroom.
We had to walk in between train cars and like break into
chained off.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't do that on the subway.
We're in Boston.
Yeah.
It's called the T. I've had some experience on the T.
On the T.
On the T.
But
yeah.
All right. This was an interesting episode.
We have a lot to say about bathrooms.
We have a lot. I could keep going all day. Stories. Yeah.
Last night they were making up more diarrhea songs.
Yes.
We could have an episode that is literally start to finish poetry from the diarrhea song.
Mrs. Giordano. She started that. 7th grade science teacher. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. We should sign off. We should start signing off with when you're sitting in the treat and you really gotta pee.
I'm trying to think of last night we came up with
Dad loves this.
When you're eating Stewart's ice cream and there was a couple.
Dribbling, not in a dream.
It's dribbling. When your stomach starts to scream. When you're not. When you're eating Stewart's ice cream.
We lost you again.
We lost you again. We got when you're eating Stewart's ice cream.
Sorry, my alarm went off. When you're eating Stewart's ice cream and your pants don't feel so clean. That was the best we got last night.
Ooh, diarrhea.
That was our topic of conversation for Andy's birthday.
I think that's a good one. It's a good one to end it out on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you want to find us anywhere else and you're not tired of our voices yet, please give us a follow on TikTok and Instagram at 17 Scooters Club. You could be watching this episode. Yes, please send in all your scooter sightings. They will be posted and you will get a little shout out. We have plenty so far. I see scooters all the time now. Anyways,
mine.
Yeah, submit yours, Natalie. Please rate and review our podcast. It means a lot to us. It's to get us moving and grooving. Give us more. Oh my God, that doesn't make sense. Moving and grooving. Yes, if you review our podcast, we could be scooting full time. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye. 2 wheels are better than 4. From the mountains to the shore, find us rolling up to the pub. We're 17 Scooters Club.